Success is not something you chase, it is something you become ready for. Become the person success requires. Most people spend their lives chasing success as if it were a location, a distant city they hope to arrive at one day. They imagine a moment when money appears, recognition follows, and confidence finally settles inside their chest. They wait for the world to approve them before they permit themselves to believe in who they are becoming. But success is not a place, it is a person. And until you become the person success requires, success will remain just outside your reach. Not because life is unfair, but because life responds to identity, not wishes. You cannot live with the habits of hesitation and expect the rewards of courage. You cannot think with doubt all day and sleep inside achievement at night. Every external victory is first an internal decision. The invisible always precedes the visible. Look at Edison. Before the light bulb illuminated cities, it illuminated his mind. Thousands of failed attempts did not break him because he was not trying to get success. He was already acting as the man who could create it. He behaved like the inventor long before the invention arrived. That is the quiet secret. The world eventually gives you what you have already become. If you become a disciplined person, opportunities begin to trust you. If you become focused, clarity begins to visit you. If you become resilient, obstacles stop frightening you. Life does not reward potential, it rewards demonstrated character. So the real question is not, how do I get success? The real question is, who must I become so success can live with me? Your habits are daily votes for the person you are constructing. Every morning you either reinforce strength or rehearse weakness. Every decision writes a line in the biography of your future self. And the future self you meet 5 years from now will not surprise you. It will simply reveal what you practiced consistently. Henry Ford was not handed an empire. He built a mindset that refused impossibility. When people said automobiles were impractical, he did not argue with them. He worked while they talked. He understood something most never learn. Confidence is not loud belief. Confidence is repeated action. Action shapes identity. Identity shapes destiny. You are not trapped by your past decisions. You are trained by your repeated ones. Right now, you are standing at a quiet crossroads you cannot see. One direction leads to comfort, excuses, and temporary relief. The other leads to growth, discipline, and eventual freedom. Both roads feel similar at the beginning. Only later do they reveal completely different lives. Comfort asks for nothing but gives nothing. Discipline asks for effort but gives everything. Your mind is the gatekeeper of that decision. If you negotiate with your excuses, you will eventually obey them. The mind loves familiar patterns even when they limit you. It prefers predictable discomfort over unfamiliar growth. That is why change feels heavy, not because you cannot do it, but because your mind is protecting old habits. But you are not your habits. You are the architect of them. When you decide that your future is more important than your current mood, something powerful happens. You stop asking, "Do I feel motivated?" and you start declaring, "I have decided." And decision is stronger than emotion. Abraham Lincoln lost elections repeatedly. Years of defeat, criticism, and humiliation followed him, yet history remembers him as a symbol of perseverance. Why? Because he did not measure himself by temporary outcomes. He measured himself by enduring purpose. He became a man who continued, and eventually, success had no choice but to meet him. You do not rise to the level of your goals. You rise to the level of your standards. Standards are invisible promises you make to yourself. They determine whether you keep going when nobody watches, whether you work when no applause comes, whether you persist when progress feels slow. Goals inspire you occasionally. Standards govern you. daily. The difference between average and exceptional is not talent, it is consistency of character. You may not control how quickly life responds, but you completely control who you are becoming while it does. Every hour you either train discipline or train regret. Every postponed action strengthens hesitation. Every completed action strengthens confidence. Confidence is not a gift. It is evidence your brain collects after watching you keep your own word. So keep small promises. Wake up when you said you would. Finish what you started. Study when distraction invites you away. These acts look insignificant to others, but they are monumental internally. They teach your mind that you are reliable, and once your mind trusts you, your actions become powerful. Walt Disney was once fired for lacking imagination. Imagine hearing that, the very trait that defined his legacy, dismissed as absent. But he did not let someone else's opinion become his identity. He kept creating, kept sketching, kept dreaming, until the world eventually stepped into the reality he first carried privately. The world often rejects you before it recognizes you. This is not punishment, it is preparation. The delay between effort and reward is where character forms. If success arrived immediately, you would not be strong enough to hold it. The waiting season is not empty, it is construction. During this time, gratitude becomes essential. Gratitude trains your perception to see progress, not just distance. When you appreciate small improvements, you build patience. Patience keeps you moving. Movement eventually creates momentum. Momentum produces transformation. And transformation is quiet. It happens before anyone notices. One day, you realize your reactions are calmer, your focus sharper, your excuses weaker. You no longer need motivation because discipline has replaced it. You stop comparing, you stop doubting, you start executing. You become dangerous to mediocrity. Resilience grows the same way muscles grow, through resistance. Every challenge is a mental gymnasium. When plans fail, you learn adaptability. When criticism arrives, you learn emotional control. When setbacks appear, you learn persistence. People who quit early believe difficulty is a signal to stop. People who succeed understand difficulty is instruction. Your mind can interpret events as barriers or as training. The event does not decide your future. Interpretation does. Two people face the same obstacle. One gains strength, the other gains excuses. The difference is mindset, and mindset is chosen repeatedly. Learning must never stop. The moment you believe you know enough, growth ends quietly. Study ideas, read biographies, observe disciplined individuals. Success leaves patterns everywhere. The lives of Carnegie, Ford, and Lincoln whisper the same message. They worked on themselves more than they worked on circumstances. Circumstances eventually surrendered. You are shaping an inner world long before the outer world changes. Thoughts become beliefs. Beliefs become behaviors. Behaviors become reputation. Reputation becomes opportunity. Opportunity becomes destiny. It all begins in a place nobody sees, your daily thinking. Guard it carefully. Refuse thoughts that weaken your courage. Replace them with thoughts that demand effort. Speak to yourself as a leader speaks to a team, firm, clear, and encouraging. The most important conversation you will ever hear is the one inside your mind. If that voice doubts you, your actions hesitate. If that voice commands you, your actions follow. Eventually, something extraordinary happens. You stop hoping life will improve, and you start expecting it because you have improved. You no longer chase success, you attract responsibility. People trust you, opportunities find you, not by coincidence, but by alignment. Your character matches the demands of achievement, and you finally understand. Success was never withholding itself, it was waiting for your readiness. The day you wake up and act with discipline regardless of mood, the day you work without needing recognition, the day you persist without immediate results, you cross an invisible line.
From that moment forward, the world interacts with you differently because you interact with yourself differently. You have become stable, dependable, focused. You have become someone progress can rely on. You have become the person success requires. And once you become that person, success is no longer uncertain. It becomes inevitable.
Your greatest competitor has never been another person. It has always been the weaker version of you that asks for comfort when effort is required. The version that promises action tomorrow. The version that negotiates with discipline and signs contracts with delay. Every morning you wake up, there are two identities waiting for control. One seeks growth, the other seeks ease. One wants progress, the other wants relief. And whichever one you feed with action becomes the ruler of your future. Most people lose not because life defeats them, but because they repeatedly surrender to small decisions, a skipped hour, a postponed task, a justified excuse. None of these seem dangerous individually, yet together they quietly build an ordinary life. Greatness is not destroyed by one large failure. It is slowly dissolved by daily compromise. Carnegie understood people deeply. He knew human behavior follows belief. If a person believes they are capable, they attempt more. If they attempt more, they gain skill. If they gain skill, they create value, and value always attracts reward. But belief does not come from wishing, it comes from proof. You create proof by doing difficult things consistently. When you sit down to work, even when distracted, you strengthen authority over your mind. When you finish a task you wanted to avoid, you train obedience within yourself. Discipline is not punishment, it is self-respect in action. Your brain is always watching what you do, not what you say you will do. Every completed promise tells your mind, I can trust this person. Every broken promise tells it, I cannot rely on him. After enough broken promises, your own mind stops taking your goals seriously. That is why people feel stuck. It is not lack of opportunity, it is loss of self-trust. So rebuild it. Start small, but start firm. A single focused hour every day is more powerful than a week of scattered motivation. Consistency compounds silently. What looks like little effort today becomes unstoppable momentum months later. Consider the bamboo tree. For years, it shows no visible growth above the ground. A person may water it daily and see nothing. Many would stop. But underground, roots are expanding, strengthening, preparing. Then, suddenly, within a short time, it rises rapidly. Success works the same way. Your preparation period is invisible to others. They may think nothing is happening, but internally, your discipline, skills, patience, and clarity are building roots. And when opportunity finally appears, you will rise quickly, not because of luck, but because of unseen readiness. The person who becomes unstoppable is not the most talented, it is the most prepared when the moment arrives. Clarity is also essential. Without a clear direction, effort scatters. You must know what you are building, not perfectly, but sincerely. A focused, imperfect plan beats a perfect, delayed plan every time. When your purpose becomes clear, distractions lose power. You stop reacting to every opinion, every comparison, every temporary trend. Your attention becomes selective. You invest energy where growth exists. And energy is life's currency. Where you place it determines who you become. Guard your time. Protect your mornings. Begin your day with winning a small battle. Study, exercise, read, or create before the world demands your attention. Early victories build psychological strength. You start the day as a leader of your actions, not a follower of circumstances. This is why successful people value routine.
Routine reduces decision fatigue. When discipline becomes automatic, progress becomes reliable. But do not misunderstand, the path will still challenge you. There will be days when effort feels heavy, when results appear delayed, when doubt whispers loudly. In those moments, remember, difficulty is not a signal of failure. It is a sign you are growing beyond your old self. Your old identity resists replacement. Stay steady anyway. Resilience is built precisely in those moments when quitting feels logical. When you continue despite slow progress, you prove commitment, and commitment transforms effort into achievement. You must also learn emotional control. Anger wastes energy. Jealousy wastes focus. Comparison wastes confidence. Your journey is unique. Someone else's timeline does not measure your worth. The oak tree and the pine tree grow at different speeds, yet both become strong. Instead of envy, choose learning. Observe successful individuals not to feel smaller, but to understand patterns. They plan, they execute, they persist longer than others. Their advantage is endurance. Endurance wins. Eventually, your mind changes. You no longer need external encouragement. You wake with internal direction. You begin to feel a quiet confidence, not loud pride, but calm certainty. You trust your process because you built it. And something subtle happens. Fear decreases. Not because risk disappears, but because your capability increases. Courage is not the absence of fear, it is the presence of preparation. Preparation removes panic. Gratitude strengthens this state. When you appreciate progress, you protect motivation. You stop seeing life as unfair and start seeing it as responsive. You realize effort produces change, and this realization fuels persistence. At this stage, opportunities appear where others see obstacles. Problems become projects. Responsibility becomes privilege. You begin volunteering for challenges instead of avoiding them. This is the transformation point. You are no longer trying to escape difficulty. You are using difficulty. And now success recognizes you. Because success is not a reward, it is a responsibility given to those capable of carrying it. Money, influence, recognition, these amplify who you already are. If you are disciplined, they magnify chaos. If you are disciplined, they magnify impact. That is why life first shapes the person before giving the prize. You have been training for a future you cannot yet see. Every early morning, every resisted distraction, every finished task, every moment you chose growth over comfort, none of it was wasted. You were constructing character strong enough to hold achievement without losing direction. One day, people will call it sudden success. You will know it was daily preparation. So continue, even when unnoticed, even when uncelebrated, even when results feel distant, because the person you are becoming is already moving you toward a different life. The world eventually makes room for those who make discipline their identity. And when that day arrives, you will not feel surprised. You will feel ready.
This channel isn't for everyone. It's for those who choose discipline over excuses.